Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and there's definitely quite a bit to talk about regarding Nintendo, regarding video games. There's so much going on right now. We've had rumors or whatever, we got people, going along with this narrative that Nintendo didn't do so well during the Christmas holiday or whatever, and that's just based on one idiot talking about the UK sales. And that's it, that's all he has. He doesn't have all of the numbers. So I did a video about that recently. We have all this talk about, the price of RAM going up and how it's going to make consoles even more expensive. Now, the funny thing is that a lot of idiots were quick to open their mouth about, this being a problem for the Nintendo Switch 2. And this just shows how stupid they are, because these are the same people that talk about, their specs being outdated and underpowered, and yet it's like, oh, the price of RAM going up, they're screwed now. It's like, you do realize that PlayStation 5 and Xbox, they have the RAM that they use is far more expensive than what Nintendo uses. So it's going to hurt them way more than it's going to hurt Nintendo. For the Nintendo Switch 2, it might be like an 8% increase, which really is not much at all. For PlayStation, it'll be like a 25% increase, which is a lot. That's a pretty good amount, so that's definitely going to hurt them. For Xbox, it might be like a 40% increase. So the price of RAM going up is going to be a much bigger problem for all of them than it ever will be for Nintendo. That's a fact. So that's something that's being talked about a lot lately, the price of RAM going up. But yesterday, or no, I think it was a couple days ago maybe, Furukawa, president of Nintendo, he had some things to say. So I guess he had like an interview and whatnot, and he basically was talking about the price of RAM potentially going up. Now, he did say that he doesn't comment on hypotheticals, which makes sense, because why would you do that? Why would you tell people your strategy? It doesn't make sense to just be like, oh, let's pretend that this happens. This is our answer to it. This is how we're going to combat it. Like, no, you don't ever want to reveal your strategy, especially if it's a very smart one. Why would you want to publicly tell everybody about that, and then your competitors might do the same thing? So it makes sense for him to say that, to say we don't comment on hypotheticals. Why would you? It doesn't make any sense to do that ever. But what he did say to that was, his solution, or their solution, Nintendo's solution to being able to sell more systems and consoles, regardless of whether the price goes up or not, will be through the video games that they are bringing us. And he did say that they are bringing some really big games to the Nintendo Switch 2. As a matter of fact, he said that they are not only they're bringing games that people have been asking for, so video games that are high on demand, and video games that, aren't really being asked for, but are going to be, must-have video games. So essentially, they're bringing video games that people are asking for, been asking for, but new video games. I don't know if this is like new IPs, or it could be something like a Wario World 2. A sequel to Wario World, Wario World. Maybe I don't know, Donkey Kong football game, some cool wild ass shit like that. Like they're gonna, maybe a Metroid spin-off. I've been talking so much about these, the potential for all of these different spin-offs and games like that. I've been talking so much about these things on my channel. I've been, creating all of these different polls and posts and whatnot for people to vote on. There's so much that they can do, with the IPs that they have. They have the best, archive of franchises in the world. So they need to do more. I mean, you look at Mario. Mario has so many different type of games. Sports games, RPG games, the 2D games. You got Mario Wonder, you got games like Mario Wonder, and then you got freaking, the Mario and Luigi Brothership game. You got Mario versus Donkey Kong. They literally gave us that just not that long ago, even a very niche game like that they gave us. So they should definitely start doing more things like that with their other characters. I'm excited for the Mario Tennis game, but man, give me a freaking Donkey Kong football game, a Wario wrestling game. People always tell me my pronunciation of these things is off and whatnot, and it is, I guess. But yeah, a Wario wrestling game would be freaking awesome. Hell, a Wario Grand Theft Auto type game would be so freaking cool. Imagine getting something like that. Imagine the next, the sequel to Wario World on the GameCube is like a Grand Theft Auto type Wario game where you're basically having to build an empire, you're having to do all these, criminal activities or whatever, robbing banks and robbing kingdoms, stuff like that. Like, that would just be so freaking cool if they make a game like that. Definitely would be down to play something like that. People are speculating that, we're getting the next big 3D Mario game, the next mainline Mario game. That would be pretty cool to see too. Now, here's the thing, Donkey Kong Bonanza. If we compare Donkey Kong Bonanza to every single 3D Mario game, it's at the top of the list. As much as I love Super Mario Odyssey, Galaxy, as much as I love Mario and 64, I even like Super Mario Sunshine. So many people are down on that game, but that game was kind of fun. It was fun. It was different. It was fun spraying random people in the face with with those water guns and whatnot. But if you add Donkey Kong Bonanza to, you compare it to all of those games, it's way better because of all of the punching, the destruction in it. It's just so fun playing as a damn gorilla, being able to climb everything, jump from very high places, smash through the ground, smash through walls, punch people, punch enemies, and all that cool stuff, throwing chunks of rock at people. Super fun game. Then there's the transformations where you turn into a giant gorilla, elephant, all these other cool different animals. Really wish they'd make more DLC for that game, to be honest. But yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza is the best 3D platforming adventure game by far. No other game comes close. So it only took that game 2 months to outsell Astrobot, by the way, to all the dumbasses out there who act like that game is great, like Angry Vigilante, that fucking idiot, trying to say that's the best 3D game. Yeah, sure. Only took Donkey Kong Bonanza 2 months to outsell it. So, and Donkey Kong, has been a character sitting on the sidelines for like a whole decade. But yeah, a new 3D mainline Mario game would be awesome. Now, what would be a good idea for a new 3D Mario game? I think for a new 3D Mario game, I think it would be cool if it's like a dimension type game where you're going into these different dimensions and you're playing as these different versions of Mario, where he's basically like one dimension he'll be like a superhero, right? And the art style is completely different. The art style is more like a comic book art style, and Mario, instead of him being the short, stubby little, Italian guy, instead he's actually like, I don't know, 6 feet tall, jacked with muscles and everything. And he's got a cape and he's got like a superhero suit or whatever. And then Bowser, he's like this, big, huge, villainous looking dude, That would be really super cool if they did that. And then, you go from that to some other different, weird dimension, stuff like that, like some type of Mario dimension game where there's just like so many different versions of Mario to play as, and the gameplay is completely different too. It's drastically different, and it's just like, it's basically just different versions, of Mario and the Mushroom Kingdom, different versions of Bowser, different versions of Princess Peach. I think something like that would be really freaking awesome. And the gameplay is just drastically different and whatnot. And maybe they'll even be, the dimensions that we are all familiar with, like the original old school 8-bit or 16-bit Mario games. And wouldn't it be cool if like you can play through those original games, but in the first person perspective or a third person perspective instead of a 2D? That would be cool if they were to do something crazy like that, do something wild like that. Like, here's the first person perspective of, Super Mario World 3, or Super Mario 3, whatever. Yeah, stuff like that. I think that would be really freaking awesome if they did something like that. So that would be a cool idea for a new 3D mainline Mario game. People are also speculating on a new fighting game that's supposed to be coming. And I talked about this in another video. It might be Punch-Out, it might be ARMS 2, it might be a brand new IP. That would really be awesome if it is a brand new IP, a brand new fighting game. I always talked about wanting Masahiro Sakurai to make a pro wrestling video game. A freaking pro wrestling video game from Masahiro Sakurai would be the coolest thing ever. That would be one of the best things ever. And yeah, I would definitely want something like that. So, but Punch-Out or ARMS, either one of them would be great. It would also be great if they do something different with Punch-Out. I put a poll up, and some people, more people want a traditional Punch-Out game. Some people are like, yeah, I think an RPG Punch-Out game would be great. I do wonder, though, if people are getting confused with what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if some people see the word RPG and they assume I'm talking about like turn-based RPG or something. Sometimes I wonder if that's what people think I'm alluding to. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking about a Punch-Out game. Still plays the same, maybe different. Maybe you can actually move around the ring instead of just standing in one little square, one little section, and all you can do is dodge and slip punches left and right. I think that would be great, and I think it would be awesome if there's like some RPG elements to the game where you have to eat food, you have to work out, train, you have to get the proper amount of rest each day, stuff like that. I think would make a Punch-Out game really great. The more money you earn, the better food you can eat for your character, for Little Mac. You can afford to go to a better gym. You can afford more training with your personal trainer to make you a better fighter. Stuff like that. That would be really cool, adding those type of RPG elements to a Punch-Out game. And what would be even more cool is if there's like a beat 'em up gameplay to it, where anytime you're traveling or you're going on foot trying to get to the next event, you're trying to take a subway train to a fighting stadium. You got bad guys that are trying to get in your way, and you go into like this beat 'em up mode, similar to like Final Fight and those type of games, and you're having to just beat the crap out of a bunch of guys, punch your way through all these dudes. That would be so freaking cool. And you have to be real good, because any damage you take from them, will transfer into whatever boxing match you go into. So if you take too much damage fighting these thugs on a train or in the back alleys or whatever, you're gonna carry that damage with you into the boxing match. I think that would be so freaking cool if they did something like that with a Punch-Out game. There's so much potential to make a really awesome Punch-Out game. There really is. Think of all the characters that they've had in Punch-Out. I mean, man, it's like they've probably had like 50 characters, right? They have so many characters that they've given us throughout the years. I think SNES had the most. When it comes to Punch-Out games, they had the most characters. They have a lot, and then they could create more as well. So yeah, I'm really hoping for something like that when it comes to the next big fighting game. Now, an ARMS 2 game would be cool too. That would be cool too. I'll be down for that. The only thing is that I think they should change a lot of things when it comes to the arms. Instead of everybody having like spring arms or whatever, like everyone pretty much has spring arms, and the only difference being that the bigger guy, his arm doesn't travel as far, but it causes more damage. Like, I think they should do something a little bit more different than that. Some people have arms that just launch like missiles. Some people have arms that punch extremely fast, but you have to run and dash towards the person. You have to get real close. I think they should do something more along the lines like that. I think that would make the game more interesting. So yeah, I'm curious to see when we get this next Nintendo Direct. People are saying it's going to be in February because apparently it's always in February. I wonder if it's going to be another 1 hour long Direct. I'll be disappointed if it's not. I'll be disappointed if it's like, oh, tune into the 25-minute Nintendo Direct. I'm like, 25 minutes? Like, that's it? Like, it should be an hour. You should have a shit ton of awesome shit to show us. So hopefully they do. A lot of people are acting like, 2026 looks like it's going to be a disappointing year because of what we've seen so far. And I'm thinking, you guys are idiots. We have already seen so many games for 2026. And we know, I mean, you can't assume that that's all we're going to get. Like, what we've seen so far for 2026, Duskbloods, we got Splatoon Raiders, we got the Mario Tennis game, Mario Tennis Fever, which also looks really awesome. It's got an adventure story mode into it. What else? We got that Pokopia game, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people into that. Did I already say Duskbloods? I think I already did. Said the Duskbloods game from FromSoft. What else? Oh yeah, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. That looks like it's going to be a great game. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, so we got that coming. People are talking about the 10th generation of Pokemon. That's another big one. So we have a lot coming already for 2026. And there's no way that those are all the games. Like, I'm pretty sure there's still plenty of more games that have yet to be announced for 2026. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out next. But anyways, you guys let me know in the comments below what you think we're going to get. Any predictions that you have. Oh, you know what? I just recently saw that apparently there's a big rumor about the next 2D Metroid game coming. So this could be a Metroid 6, because Metroid Dread is actually Metroid 5, so we're probably going to get a Metroid 6. That would be super freaking cool, and let me tell you, Metroid Dread is still the best Metroid game. That game is way better than Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4, I'm enjoying it, and I'm getting close to beating it, but still very disappointing in a sense that it didn't really take the Metroid Prime series to levels we've never seen before. The only thing is now we got more characters to interact with. We have some open world elements that makes the game a little bit more dynamic, I guess. But besides that, it's got good bosses. It looks great. The game looks great. Not much of a story, and again, I think that's because they didn't have enough time to make a story, because they were probably scrapping a story that was originally made by some piece of trash feminist, some weirdo, some woke activist was trying to insert a lot of woke garbage into the game, and I think Retro Studios, after firing her, they had to clean that up and just get that out there, and now we're just left with a game that doesn't really have much of a story. But no story is better than some woke garbage, like trying to reveal that Samus Aran is trans or something stupid like that. But yeah, we're probably going to get a new 2D Metroid game. I honestly hope it's got some multiplayer or something to it, or something to make the game extremely fun. Metroid Dread is a very fun game. It's a great game. It'd just be cool if it had some multiplayer, some form of multiplayer, But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. So you guys let me know what you think about all this. What do you think is... what are we going to get? What would you like to see for a mainline Mario game? Do you think we'll get another... a sequel to the 3D... to Wario? Do you think we'll get some DLC? I would like to see some more DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza. Some free DLC for Kirby Air Riders, I think that would be great, And just because Masahiro Sakurai said he wasn't planning on doing anything like that, that doesn't really mean much. It just means that he himself, Masahiro Sakurai, doesn't plan on it. But, he's not the only one that worked on that game. That game was worked on by Bandai Namco as well. And you know what? Bandai Namco, they probably were taught... they probably have the experience and the knowledge on how to add more to this game, because Masahiro Sakurai worked with them for, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and this game. So I think at this point, if Bandai Namco wanted to give us some more, for Kirby Air Riders, they could easily do it. I'm pretty sure at this point they know how to, how to make these games themselves after working on, on this entry as well as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So it would be really cool if they continue to support the game themselves, without Masahiro Sakurai's help. If Masahiro Sakurai is going to be working on something else. But like I said, Masahiro Sakurai, he said he didn't plan on doing anything. He didn't definitively say that he was not going to, add DLC or continue supporting the game. He just said he wasn't planning on it. So keep that in mind. Saying you're not planning on doing something is not the same as saying you're not going to do it. So it'd be cool to see if we get something, if we get more added for Kirby Air Riders, because I think they could definitely use more characters for sure. I think they could easily add another 20 characters to the game, 10 characters at the very least. I think they have a good amount of tracks. More bosses would be awesome. Kirby has a lot of bosses, a lot of villains. I think it would be cool if they added more villains and boss fights like that. Would definitely be down to see something like that. Maybe some more content added to Road Trip. That would be really cool. And some more weapons, more abilities and whatnot that you can use would be awesome as well. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. I will definitely get back to you guys. I will talk to you guys, interact with you guys. There's a lot of you guys out there who like my videos. You don't really leave comments. Go ahead and leave comments as well, give me some ideas, give me some thoughts, concerns, whatever. And I will get back to all of you guys. So that being said, you all take care and have a good one.